There's a strange silence that sometimes follows retirement. At first, it feels peaceful. No more alarm clocks, no morning commute, no meetings. Just freedom. But slowly, that silence begins to stretch. And what once felt like rest can begin to feel like emptiness. This is something few people talk about. When we prepare for retirement, we talk about savings, Medicare, maybe even travel plans. But we don't talk about what happens to the soul when the structure of daily life falls away. We don't talk about loneliness. And yet, for millions of older adults, it quietly becomes one of the most significant challenges in this new chapter of life. Loneliness after retirement isn't just emotional, it's physical. It changes our brains. It affects our immune system. It increases our risk of depression, dementia, and even early death. In fact, researchers have found that chronic loneliness can be as damaging to your health as smoking or obesity. But here's what's most heartbreaking. Many seniors feel ashamed of this loneliness, as if they're supposed to be happy, as if retirement should automatically feel like a reward. But real life is more complicated, especially when we've spent decades building our identity through work, caregiving, and daily purpose. And when that purpose disappears, when the phone stops ringing, when coworkers are no longer part of your life, when your grown children are busy with their own families, there's an emotional weight that settles in, one that few people see, but that many carry. You are not alone in feeling this way. And that's the first truth we need to say aloud. Because loneliness thrives in silence. It grows in the shadows. But when we name it, when we speak about it without judgment or shame, something changes. We take the first step toward healing, toward reclaiming connection, toward choosing life again. And that's what this video is about. Not just understanding loneliness, but overcoming it. Gently, honestly. One small step at a time. Welcome to Elder Wisdom. If you're new here, this is a place of gentle reflection and heartfelt encouragement for those walking through the later seasons of life. If this message speaks to you or reminds you of someone you love, we invite you to subscribe to the channel. It's our way of creating connection, one conversation at a time. In the next segment, we'll explore why loneliness is so common after retirement, and why it has less to do with being alone and more to do with how life has changed around you. Part 2. Why retirement brings loneliness, even when you're not alone. It's a quiet truth that surprises many. You can be surrounded by people and still feel deeply lonely. Loneliness isn't always about isolation. It's about disconnection. It's about feeling unseen, unheard, or emotionally out of sync with the people around you. And for many older adults, this kind of disconnection begins quietly after retirement, even if family and neighbors are nearby. So why does this happen? For one, retirement changes the rhythm of life. For decades, your days likely had structure. Waking up at the same time, going to work, seeing familiar faces, having goals and deadlines. There was momentum, purpose, conversation. But when that routine ends, it doesn't just leave you with more free time. It can also leave you with fewer anchors. You may find yourself wondering, who am I without this role? What do I do with my time now? At the same time, social circles often shrink after retirement. Coworkers, clients, and acquaintances drift away. Friends your age may have moved or become less mobile. Some may have passed on. Adult children are busy with their own lives, and grandchildren may live far away. Even technology, for all its promises of connection, can become a barrier. The world today moves fast. Conversations often happen through screens and apps. And if you didn't grow up navigating that world, it can feel intimidating to catch up, or exhausting to try. All of this adds up to a quiet shift. Days grow longer, calls become fewer, invitations less frequent, and slowly You begin to feel a little less visible, a little more separate from the world around you. And yet, for many seniors, the instinct is to stay quiet about it. You don't want to be a burden. You don't want to admit you're lonely. Perhaps you think, others have it worse, or I should be stronger than this. But here's the truth. Naming your loneliness is not weakness. It's courage. Because once we name something, we can begin to understand it. And once we understand it, we can begin to move through it. You're not alone in feeling this way. Millions of people are navigating the same emotions right now. And many of them, just like you, are wondering if things will ever feel full again. But here's the hopeful part. They can. In fact, the human heart has an incredible capacity to reconnect, even after years of separation or silence. And in the next part of this video, we'll talk about exactly how to begin that process. But before we go there, if this message has resonated with you so far, take a moment to gently support yourself and others by subscribing to this channel. Every time you share or comment, you help create a space where elder voices are heard, honored, and uplifted. Part 3. Gentle Ways to Rebuild Connection. After 65. Let's begin this part with a simple truth. You are never too old to reconnect. Loneliness, as heavy as it may feel, is not a final state. It's a signal, a quiet whisper from your heart asking for more warmth, more belonging, more human touch. And there are beautiful, manageable ways to answer that call, starting right where you are, with exactly what you have. Connection doesn't have to come through big changes. It often starts with something small, a short conversation with a neighbor, a shared meal with someone from church, a handwritten letter to a childhood friend. These gestures might seem minor, but they are the threads that quietly weave the fabric of community. One of the most powerful steps you can take is simply to show up. Attend that community luncheon. Join the weekly walking group. Say yes to the local book club, even if you haven't read the book. Don't wait until you feel completely ready or confident. Just begin. At first, it might feel awkward. That's okay. Social muscles, like physical ones, take time to strengthen. But every conversation, every kind word, every shared laugh adds strength. You are planting seeds, seeds that will bloom in their own time. Technology, though daunting for some, can also be a bridge. Many senior centers now offer free or low-cost classes on how to use smartphones, tablets, or video calls. Even learning how to send an email or join a Zoom gathering can reopen doors to long-lost friends and distant family members. Don't be afraid to ask for help. There are many patient, kind people who would love nothing more than to walk with you through that learning process. And let's not forget the quiet companionship found in helping others. Volunteering is one of the most healing paths out of loneliness. Whether it's reading to children, knitting blankets for hospitals, or simply offering your time to a local organization, acts of service create purpose, and purpose creates connection. When you give, you also receive. If transportation is a challenge, consider calling your local senior center or council on aging. Many have programs that provide rides to events, medical appointments, or social outings. You do not have to face this alone. There are hands reaching out to meet yours. You simply have to reach back. Now you may be wondering, what if I've lost many of the people who once made me feel connected? What if the ones I trusted most are no longer here? Grief is real. And sometimes the ache of those absences can make new connections feel almost impossible. But remember this, making new friends never means replacing old ones. It means carrying their memory forward as you continue to live with openness and courage. Love is not limited. There is still space in your heart. Part 4. The healing power of connection. For body, mind, and spirit. We often think of relationships as emotional, but their power goes far beyond that. When we connect deeply with others, our entire body responds. The benefits of human connection are not just felt in the heart. They're recorded in the brain, the immune system, even our cells. Let's begin with what science tells us. Numerous studies, including long-term research from Harvard and the National Institute on Aging, have found that social connection is one of the most reliable predictors of long-term health and longevity. In fact, older adults with meaningful social ties tend to live longer, recover faster from illness, and maintain sharper cognitive function. Loneliness, on the other hand, can cause real harm. It triggers the body's stress response, increasing levels of cortisol, a hormone that in large amounts over long periods can lead to high blood pressure, weakened immunity, and increased inflammation. These effects quietly wear the body down. But here's the good news. Just a little more connection, one call, one visit, one shared moment, can begin to reverse these effects. The mind, too, finds nourishment in companionship. Conversations stimulate memory, attention, and language skills. When you talk with someone who listens, really listens, your brain lights up in areas related to emotional regulation and reasoning. It becomes easier to process thoughts, solve problems, and even manage anxiety or depression. Beyond the physical and mental benefits, there is something else, something harder to measure, but perhaps the most important of all. Connection feeds the soul. It's in the knowing glance between lifelong friends, the shared silence between two people who feel safe with each other, the comfort of having someone to check on you, someone who remembers your favorite song or the name of the pet you lost years ago. These quiet moments give life texture and meaning. And let's be clear, connection doesn't always mean being in a relationship or having a large family. It can be found in friendships, in group rituals, in shared faith or values, in the presence of a pet, in the embrace of nature. What matters most is the sense of being seen, of being known, of belonging. One powerful practice that can help foster connection is gratitude. Taking time each day to reflect on who you're thankful for, no matter how small the interaction, can shift your focus away from what's missing and toward what's meaningful. Gratitude doesn't erase loneliness, but it softens it. It reminds you that even brief, beautiful moments can sustain you. And remember, this journey is not about becoming someone you're not. It's about reconnecting with who you've always been, a person worthy of love, of company, and of joy. If you've found this reflection meaningful so far, we gently invite you to subscribe to us. Your engagement helps this channel reach others who may be struggling in silence and lets them know they're not alone. Part 5. A gentle roadmap to belonging again. So where do we go from here? The path away from loneliness isn't a straight line. It's a winding journey, one that calls for patience, gentleness, and courage. But every step, no matter how small, brings you closer to the kind of connection that truly nourishes you. It starts with acknowledgement. Simply saying, "Yes, I feel this," is an act of bravery. There's no shame in longing for companionship. In fact, it's one of the most human instincts we have. And the truth is, the desire for closeness doesn't fade with age. It deepens. It becomes more sacred. From there, we move to intention, choosing to open the door just a little, saying yes to a phone call, smiling at someone new, offering a helping hand. These may seem simple, but they are powerful gestures. They tell the world and your own heart that you are still willing to connect, still willing to live. Let this also be a reminder. You don't have to do this perfectly. There's no need to be outgoing or sociable if that's not your nature. Connection doesn't have to be loud. It can be soft, quiet, tender. It can look like sharing a cup of tea with a neighbor. It can be writing your memories into a letter and sending it to someone you've lost touch with. It can be walking into a room where you know no one and deciding to stay for just 10 minutes longer than you feel comfortable. And if fear or grief arise, that's okay too. It means your heart is still awake. It means you still care. You still feel. And that's a beautiful thing. Remember, loneliness is not a flaw. It is a call, a reminder that you are built for connection, that your life still holds space for love, for friendship, for meaning. You have not missed your chance. As long as you are breathing, belonging is still possible. You are still needed in this world. Your stories, your wisdom, your laughter, your presence, they matter. You matter. So start where you are, with what you have, even if that's just the willingness to try. At Elder Wisdom, we believe in second chances for joy, for healing, for community, and we believe in you. This channel was created to be a place of calm support, where no one feels forgotten or invisible. If this message resonated with you, please consider subscribing to Elder Wisdom. It helps us reach more people who may be quietly struggling, people just like you. Share this video with someone you care about, someone who might need a gentle reminder that connection is still within reach. And most of all, be kind to yourself. The journey back to belonging is not about changing who you are. It's about remembering who you've always been, someone deeply worthy of love. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing to keep going. You are not alone. Not now, not ever. Stay safe, stay connected, and until next time, keep choosing life.